This is the North West Training Development Team and Pathways Coronavirus Update. Today's update shares new information from the government about when people must wear a face covering. We know we've been asked to wear a face covering if we're outside of our home but in an enclosed space, like in a shop where social distancing is more difficult. But from Monday the 15th of June, people must wear face coverings if they're on public transport, such as buses and trains. Anyone not wearing a face covering who should may not be allowed to travel. They could also be fined. Taxi companies will have their own rules about this, so you should check what these are before travelling with them. When travelling on public transport, people might be asked by staff or police officers to remove their face covering so they can be identified. The government says we should not use medical or surgical masks for travelling on public transport. These need to be kept for people who need them for their work. Instead, we should use homemade face coverings, or you can buy them online. We've made a video about how to make a face covering. If you're not able to make or use the type of face covering that we showed in our video, there are lots of videos online about how to make a face covering that doesn't need to be tied. When we're wearing a face covering, the government reminds us it's important to wash our hands before we put it on and immediately after we take it off. Even when we wear a face covering, we must still keep 6 feet or 3 steps away from people we don't live with. Wearing a face covering does not stop you catching the virus. It may protect other people from catching the virus from you if you have it but don't know yet that you do. If you have symptoms of coronavirus, you should not travel. You should stay at home. Some people will not have to wear face coverings on public transport. These include children under 2, people who have difficulties breathing, and some disabled people who might find it really difficult to use a face covering. The government has not yet given guidance about how you can show you do not have to wear a face covering. We will do a video tomorrow looking at how we might deal with this. The government says people must wear a face covering on public transport from next Monday, the 15th of June. People are asked to wear a face covering anytime social distancing is more difficult. Very young children and some adults who find them difficult to use will not have to wear face coverings on public transport.